Welcome back to another episode of Business Journey Unlocked. I'm here today with Samuel Morrell of Axis Responses Consulting. Samuel works closely with ultra high network individuals, executives, and public sector leaders who are navigating cross-border risk, visibility, and mobility decisions where a single step can mean physical harm, legal exposure, or irreversible reputable damage. Samuel, welcome to the show. Just start off, can you give a quick snapshot of what Axis is all about and what you're doing with your clients?
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Pleasure to talk to you. Basically, less than a year ago, we decided with friends and partner to create this company in US, Florida to be exact. And the objective was primarily to develop training, tactical training, for reaching civilian or professional. But we are all coming from different background. From France, obviously, my accent. And we decided to put all together. And, the more you build the company, the more you build the business plan, the more you understand that maybe you should touch this field or another field. And then we started to create a multiple services reaching the executive protection. But this field is a little bit difficult and different than in Europe, which in Europe, it's not only about networking, it's about, certification. People wants to see that you've been to the school or you have a huge background in military or police. Here, it's little bit different, not that it's easier, but the fact that we come from Europe, our way to work is a little bit different, which for here, you need to readapt all the system, all the principle. And so for us was a challenge. And obviously it started to work for us, which we are pretty happy of it. So we are turning actually on executive protection. Why? Because you start to have a bigger demand, especially in Florida. So some of my partner works here and there, but I'm trying to be known by different company, different clients, and we start gently to propose services. So the services can be finally executive protection, as we says, for a client, or we propose a different training for EPs or companies that want to extend their capacity.
The one thing I enjoy about that approach, it's that you're trying to do a more gentle execution and actually going into the market. You've been in this market, the US market, for about a year. I've spoke to a couple other people in similar situations to you doing ultra high network protection services, and they hire just military. It's mainly military, mainly law
Yes.
enforcement. There are some exceptions that are at play, but most of the time for these type of high network individuals, they need that credibility. They need that experience, as you briefly mentioned before. Based on
Yeah.
your background and the clients you work with, what did you see in the US market that previous security consulting companies were struggling with when it came to protection and risk?
So you have different point that I did observe. You have not all the company, but several companies. When they reach the client, they want to propose directly a contract or an agreement of protection. But what means protection? What is the serious threat on the client? How can I understand the concept of threat, then the threat of the client, and who is the client, which will give you different approach to create an evaluation, which we call the risk assessment or threat assessment, that will provide you how many people you need to employ, how much it will cost to the client, why the client is under threat, what type of threat he has. It can be a physical threat, it can be a financial threat, it could be insurance threat, it could be a lot of stuff. many company doesn't really understand the concept of evaluation. So they want to respond immediately to a client, which mainly you can see that the client choose for them. You have a lot of clients that they will tell you what you have to do. And you are like, but wait, who is the professional? Um, Also, I was discussing with a colleague today, and he was like, oh, I did a contract, and the contract was asking literally to be a butler. You cannot be a butler if you do executive protection. We need to be serious in this industry. And US always have been a serious aspect of finance and business. If you want to develop business, come to US, don't go to Europe, because you have the chance to do some things. So I've been raised,
Mhm.
80s, where people were saying, hey, it's a great dreams, American dreams. There is no American dreams, because the real dreams is you have to work and understand how America work. Uh, then when you grasp the concept, you gather information, and you try to, I will say, balance between I want the business, so I want to sell something, I want to get the money, and also the efficiency of the service that you will provide. And this is a huge gap that we have actually in this system. And if someone tell you, no, we are all doing a great stuff, that's a lie, because you have so much demand and so much company that provide, and they are not accurate of what they are proposing. Lack of management, you have lack of skills. You can be a military, but military never, mostly, you never did protection other than a site or a vehicle or your team, but you don't really understand what means executive protection. Same things for a cop, uh, which I have tremendous amount of colleagues that they are excellent in what they are doing, but they are not trained to do that. Their mindset have been and their skills have been evolving through the experience. So for me, an EP is not just, big guy or a muscle guy or a guy that shoot like very sharp. It's someone that is able to understand the situation, being aware of the health of the client, what the client wants, the mindset of the client, and also the mindset of the threat. So it's so much a mixture, a mayonnaise, like we said in French, of different skills and approach that generate and build a mindset that will give you the most valuable exit, or I will not say exit, but most valuable perception of what needs to be provided and what you can do. And some people, they cannot provide the services because they don't have the skills or nor the experience. Doesn't mean that they are bad. They just mean that they are not on the right field. They can be excellent in close protection or securizing a site, but they will not be accurate with the client.
In terms of the ultra high network, I do agree, especially from the concept you briefly touched on with law enforcement. As you're aware, they're also there to protect, but they're also there to enforce the laws. So with that in mind, there are some people that moonlight that do security on the side, so it's kind of hard to do that balance when your whole job is solely to protect the individual that you have a contract with. And as you mentioned, there are some individuals that don't really see the, I wouldn't say benefit, but the actual job scope that people in your situation actually do day to day, or they just frankly don't care. They have all this money that I can blow. I'm just referring to the Butler incident in the contract. There's just a lot of people that try to get as much out of that person. So they try to see what I wouldn't say loopholes, but gray areas they can inflict into their service contract because they are paying these people. But at the end of the day, as you're aware, you're there to protect and serve these people. You're not there to be their butler. You're there to be there just in case if shit, so to speak, hits the fan. You're there to protect them, get the exit strategy, get the necessary precautions in place in order to go from A, B, then C, and
Absolutely.
D.
Absolutely. I agree that, it's the same things that you have so much guy that, when you discuss with them, they based who they think they are now compared to what they did. Uh, so, for example, anywhere that I work across the world, I have this concept of discussing sometime with colleagues, I come from special operation, I did that, I did this, but what you are doing now? What what can you provide to the client? Are you a butler, special operation, or are you someone that use the skills that you learn, the wisdom of your experience, and you will utilize it to serve someone that is in danger, whatsoever the level of danger, you will be able to serve it. But watch out, because serving doesn't mean being slave. So we have to say to the
Mm.
client, today I was working with my client and, he started to step out before me outside. So I started to tell him, hey, I'm sorry, I will not give the name, but I said, hey, please, next time, don't do that. Because if someone wait outside, then you will be screwed. So I didn't use the term screwed, but I needed to use a term that will impact his mind. If I'm too nice, too gentle, what will happen? The person will be, oh, he's too gentle. Now, if you walk on the feet on someone and this person lets you walking on the feet, what will happen the second time? You will do again and then you will hurt. But if the first time you say gently, don't
Mhm.
walk on my feet the second time because it will go bad, you have two solutions. One will react with defensive and then will become aggressive. But usually the people that react like that in their mind is like, oh, this one is pretty aggressive or it's strict. That's why in military, we love military or police people because they have this kind of mindset. But doesn't mean that this mindset is efficient for this type of job. And that's why a lot of people have license Leosa or whatever. It's useless. It's useless if you don't have the wisdom for that. Doesn't mean that Leosa are not good. No, it's not what I said. What I said is a lot of them use Leosa or their skills from the experience they have, thinking that they will be a good hippie. And being an executive protection is being wise first. Then after you can put your tactical, whatever you want to do, paratrooper or whatsoever. So you need to find what is useless from the past that will not serve you and what you need to readapt to preserve the safety of yourself, the team, and the client. So it's a very uh, interesting field because you have to make psychology, instinct, and associate both to understand and comprehend what's going on within you, how you manage your emotional behavior, the response, how you will react. Are you overreacting? And how the client will react. So it's asking you to observe a lot, where cops are usually very good on that. They observe a lot behavior of people. Military, it's more about communication, self behavior rather than observing. And military usually listen a lot because we have to comprehend which order come and what the order wants. So that's why military and police are mainly the most valuable people on this, but you can go in Philippines, you can go in Dubai, you will retrieve the same type and archetype of close protection or bodyguard or whatever you want to call that. But like you said earlier, uh, we have a lack of professionalism whatsoever for some company or some people, lack of serious training. The training is more about tactical. It should not. It should be more about psychological behavior, understanding how to manage a threat, how to evaluate the threat. Shooting is good, but how many EPs use their guns and start to shoot in many people? You don't have to, because the primary response that you have is anticipate by being proactive of what kind of threat can come, and then take the client away, the protectee away quickly. So you don't have time to take your gun, throw a grenade or a knife or whatever you want. This is just the movie. Most of the time we are waiting a lot. So you have to work on yourself to be patient, learning how your colleagues work, to comprehend how they will react if something's happened, and then observing a lot your client, preparing mission, preparing advanced team. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's more management than real tactical.
There's a lot of factors, and I do agree from your standpoint. People don't understand what you actually do behind the scenes until they actually live it themselves. They just compare how it is in the movies and they think that's how it is in real life. It's completely separate. I do agree with what you were saying, and you do make an interesting statement regarding from the fact is, even though if you have military experience, even if you have law enforcement experience, EPs are a whole different animal. There's so much different frameworks, psychology, perspectives that go into it that even though you have this prior training and it does define who you are, you have to adapt and pivot to what executive protection is all about, especially from the fact is if you're guarding ultra high network individuals, executives, you need to have not only the experience, but also have the credibility in that space as well. And that also goes on towards the authority you have. As you mentioned before, the gentleman who you're protecting as of now, he stepped out of line in some certain minor aspect, but that minor aspect can create lethal what's the word I'm looking for? At least lethal just actions on them,
Absolutely.
right? It's from the fact is one little misstep can just throw the whole thing apart, as we mentioned earlier in the intro. In your line of work, shortcuts are always available, whether that's faster deployment, looser compliance. But with this EP, it's very strict. It's very coordinated to the very
Mhm.
last precision. Based on that, based on the experience you have within your professional development within Axis Response Consulting as well, what's one internal discipline you refuse to compromise on, even if it slows the growth, even if it slows the operation at hand? Like you have to make sure this single discipline, this single principle has to be in everything before you execute anything.
You have similar aspect, but when I look for a contract, whatsoever, a contract that I will work for a company or a contract directly with the client, I usually, with the client is different, because you will not express yourself the same way because you are in direct contact with the company. You don't know who is behind the scene to communicate with the client, even though you will be in contact with the client, but you cannot jump and take the contract away. This is unethical. So let's go just on, if I'm face of the client. I remember a long time ago, uh, which I become friend after with this client, and we used to separate. I remained friends, but not anymore the protective agent. What I always refused, other than doing the black side, which is negotiable sometimes. But what I always refuse is being the slave. Don't give me your bag
Mhm.
if the threat is we are in the mall and I know the threat could be very oppressive and present. Don't give me stuff to do because I will be focused on you. Don't try to rush me or because I will disappear. I don't want you to see me. I want you to feel me. Because if you see me, that's mean my job is done. If you feel me, that's mean you know what will be my reaction. That's mean we are connected. We created the bones. And this is a big point that mainly we all forgot is that we create bones. You can be the best EP in the world. If with the client, this energy, this connection doesn't go, it's over. It will never works because the guys or the lady that is the client will always try to see where you are. And if this happen, that's mean you are not doing your job correctly, which mean the connection with the client. You don't know your client and your client doesn't know you. But now a lot of EPs accept everything because they need to work and thinking that you have to carry the bag. Well, when you have your bags, you are focused on the bags because you don't know what kind of value is in the bags. So you are not paying attention anymore fully on what happened around the client, nor you are aware of what the client is doing. You are just aware of what you have in your hand. So doesn't mean that you cannot do it. Today, I helped my client because I knew he had issues with the finger. So I took the bag, but I know my other hand is free. So if I have to grab him and move him, I can do it. I will throw the bags. I don't care about that. My value is my client. Being a slave, that's mean the value is you are the value for the client. I'm not the value for the client because my client's value is his life. So if I'm dying, if I'm useless, my client don't have any value anymore. It's over, nor me. So for me, the client need to understand that the best value is you and him, not only him. Now some colleague will tell me, yeah, okay, but if you are not here as an EP, the value disappear. No, the client still be a value, but the client is a value as a dollars, not as a life. When you connect as an EP, I don't see him as a dollars. I see him as a life. He is a human beings that I need to
Mhm.
protect in any way. So when you are a slave, you start to accept any things that the client asks you, which the client start to guide you now. He leads you. You have to lead the client. No, sir, no, man, we are not going there because it's a threat. And I didn't make any reconnaissance of this area. I don't want to take you there. We can go another time, but this time I guarantee you that it's not the right way to go. So let's try to another way that I know the way. And usually the client follow you. If he don't follow you, that is a problem. That means your client doesn't listen to you and is not truly believing in your skills and your capacity. So, and this is a big stuff when
It
you accept a contract, even with a company, you have to put your limits because if not, you become useless.
it's all about building the authority and especially building the
Exactly.
boundaries. Both of you have to understand exactly why you are there to protect these individual or individuals. You're not there to be the butler, be the slave. You're not there to hold their bag. You're there to protect only one thing, and that's them and their
Absolutely.
life.
Absolutely.
That's all that
Absolutely.
matters. But some people forget that.
Yeah, because again, we are in a society where the only things matter unconsciously or consciously, I don't know, the kind of the mind, but mainly this society is unconscious and is only focused on money. What can
Mhm.
I get from you? What you can get from me? There is no real exchange. And by saying exchange, by utilizing the exchange, you will truly improve the value of the human beings that you are protecting, and also you as a human. You will improve. I have pleasure for working with the client that I have. Is it boring? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's probably the most boring contract that I do. But I really enjoy to work with my client, because any moment that I'm with him, and I know he does the same, he learn and we learn from each other's reaction, behavior. And the bonds with, when a client at the morning said good morning to you with a big smile, that's mean he have a pleasure to see you, that he knows that you do your job. The moment that you start to see a client forgetting to tell you good morning or good night or giving you information, that that you are in the bad a bad track, and you need to correct it quickly or separate from the client. So it's not just about money. It's like you said, the boundary, the bonds that you create with them, and this is the most difficult part to create.
Just building the rapport, building that relationship, it is very difficult, especially if it doesn't go the way you want it to go in the beginning, because that sets the whole frame for how the whole contract is
So,
gonna go. There are a lot of people, especially in the States, but obviously other parts in the world, that only look at the monetary value in terms of the business sense, in terms of the services they provide, the products they provide. They don't look at from the fact is what value, what results can I bring to the table? All they are worried about is selling X amount to X amount of people. For me personally, I look at it from the fact that money's the byproduct. And as you mentioned before, you truly enjoy what you do. Money will follow you. Even if you have to start in certain situations you're not ideally wanting to start in, but essentially, especially starting with businesses as well, just trying to gain that credibility, gain the inertia with the momentum, you have to start somewhere. You have to in order to get where you want to go, there's a lot of people that forget that you have to start at little pieces, build those small habits, building blocks, frameworks, and then those building blocks will turn into huge stones that would allow you to succeed and get where you want to go with the business. But essentially, it's starting somewhere, doing the boring contracts so you can get more involved in the state you're in the country you're in the industry you're in order to get those more exciting, more long-term
absolutely.
contracts. That's the biggest
But
scope with everything.
like we were saying earlier, we are actually in society where you were using building blocks, right? So let's say it's like a kid that playing Lego. So when they play Lego, ego, basically they build the ego. It's exactly the same with this field. I don't know other field, but we are in the field that the ego is huge, huge. Oh, I did that. I come from this. I can
Mhm.
do that. I can do this. Okay, no problem. But you have to recognize your ego. Your ego can be your best friend, and helping you to enlighten yourself and also enlightening others. But you can also destroy yourself by thinking and creating, I will say, an illusion of you, who I am. No, you are not who I am. What I am for others and for myself. Uh, do I am a support for people, a solid support where they can relate on me, or do I am a coward and nobody will account on me? I will just live on lie. And this is the main problem when you have a gun, whatsoever the the work that you will do, cop, military, or EPs, or whatever, PI. The moment that you have a gun, you create a bubble that thinking that you have the power on others because you can defend yourself with a gun. Now, do you need this gun to be yourself? No. Do you need to be EP to create bonds with people? No. So by being yourself, like you said, you will not chase about who you are because you really know what you are for others. Now, what you will chase is only being yourself. And by being yourself, you will not chase money because you know that money will make you somewhere in the hole and you will lose yourself. How many people that have a lot of money and they are totally lost? No comment. You have a
Too
lot of
many.
people. But now, if you make a decent money and you build slowly, like a kids that create the Lego, they will not create a freaking, Star Wars starship at the first time. They will start piece by little piece. Same things for us. You are not starting an EP company or whatsoever the business by proposing big. You will never get anything. You have to think big, but starting small. And this is the main issues that we have. Our
Mhm.
group is that because we think big, we thought that, and we work on big contract, whatsoever on the tactical field or with the government. But the moment we started to reduce this mental way and focus on one point, the point is reached very quickly. I was talking with my wife a couple of days ago, and she was like, "Man, you start to reach all what you want." And I said, it's not just what I want or what I desire. It's knowing myself, know thyself, as we says. And maybe tomorrow I will sell pizza. Who knows? And I will be happy with that. But because I live my passion and I love what I'm doing, automatically I will love the client that I will go with. Automatically, I don't enjoy all the colleague, but I will love what they brings to me. So it's not about money. It's about how you can grow as an individual, what you can provide to others, and then the money will follow you. Um, we are the money creator. The money doesn't create us. It's not just on EPs. It's on security in general. First, the society start to create more rich people, like extreme rich, and you have extreme poor. So especially with the crypto money, you have a lot of people that become extremely rich quickly, which means that they are becoming new targets for terrorism or simple gang or even someone that wants or think that you can get money from them, not really understanding how crypto works. For example, a couple of weeks ago, a guy that was a owner of crypto money have been kidnapped and killed because they are new target. So more people become poor, more you will have attack from people, which become more dangerous because there is no preparation. It will be a random attack, like terrorists. When terrorists started to eat us, we were like, wait, what? They attack a freaking building. They attack whoever in the street because it was random. Whatsoever, they are more organized than the guys will attack a crypto or old lady in the street. So this is something that we need to really look at it as a geopolitical and geostrategy across the world. Now, the EP, whatsoever the level of the EP, it needs to have an interest on what kind of threat we have across the world. What is the most impacting threat or type of behavior that we need to pay attention the most? So for sure, you will have some sort of similar attitude in someone that will attack you. but now the attack can come from the cyber. So how you want to evaluate the threat? It's also our job sometimes to evaluate that in our risk assessment or threat assessment. But you have another point that we have to consider. For the past couple of years, we start to see, like we had in anti-piracy maritime years and a decade ago, we had a high salary. And then suddenly, because a mass of people coming, people train, not train whatsoever, they see light, they see money, so they are coming. And as the threat, they are going into the market without real knowledge, and they become a threat themselves for the market. So
Mm,
now I'm the client. I see a guy's A and a guy's B. A B is very muscular, is very athletic, he knows how to present himself, but no, sorry, pardon me for my vocabulary, shit about the work. But he just know how to present himself. He's a good seller. And now you have a guy that is highly skilled, not very a good communicator because we are not basically sailors, but we become sailor. Front of the client, I guarantee you, he will take the muscular guys that know how to talk and please them. And that is a big threat in the market, but also for the client because it will start to blow all the system that older EPs put on and started to work on how we work. People that trained me a long time ago or recently, because I train all the time, they have a certain mindset. They are not seller, that's for sure, but they are excellent and skilled people and personality, excellent in behavior reading. Are they sellers? No. Are they athletic? Meh, not that much. Are they older? Yes. Are they competent? Extremely competent. But now you have this young guy coming, nice face, well presented because TV. And now they will get the client. Now they will get the company, and the company will hire them. And it's eating us very, very badly. Counter-piracy, anti-piracy, decade ago, was a lot of people coming from Philippines and stuff. Are they competent? Not all. You had a lot of competent people, but they are cheap. So people started to hire them because why I will pay a guy that from, US or former CEO or former whatsoever you want, having a certain competence and skills in this domain, and I will have to pay him 1,000 a day compared to the Filipino that come from the Navy, have the same skills because they are pretty good too. And the guys take 150 a day and eat a head of fish every 2 days because I've seen it. They are able to do that. So I'm a client. I want to save money because everything is about money. I will take the guys on 150. And that's why the anti-piracy system started to collapse and have more people and then have more issues with the insurance because the skills were not there.
mm,
I was in Iraq in 2007 until 2009. Same things. I started with a salary super high. Now we have some requests for PSD, which the threat is different, but the salary is 250 a day. Why I will go risking my life in a job that is pretty decent and cool and fun when I can have a client here paying me 350, 900, and I will do nothing. Because basically it's what you do. You will probably work 2-3 hours per day. The rest is waiting. So this intensive amount of time, the 3, 4, 5 hours that you will work a day during the 14, 16 hours a day, you will make a tremendous amount of money. But the client doesn't see it like this. How I can have someone protecting me, and why, if I pay this guy, he will not serve me for all the stuff. So it's different aspects of why we think that EP's field or security field start to be different than 20 years ago, because the clients are different, because the people market are different, and because the mind society is different. So the moment that a client decide to pay a skilled person, he will pay the money. But in response, this money will not be lost. But now try to explain to a client that a guy that waits in the house with a gun, with a training, with a good mindset, but waiting 5, 6 hours a day in the house, doing nothing else than just waiting. Why I will give him 1,000 a day? What is the purpose of that? Because I'm wasting my money. But basically, he don't waste his money, because the moment that we are with the client, then the values start to be on, because they pay the skills, they pay the personality capacity of the person. Not too much people can read the behavior of others. Not too much people are able to talk to a dog and asking him to climb and stuff. Personally, I can do that. I cannot do that. I don't know if you can do it, but I can read easily a behavior of someone. So everyone has skills, but nobody wants to pay anymore. And that is a big wound inside the market. And I think it's not just security. I think it's all the markets, all the businesses around. How many people, has to big amount of contract and they are useless. How many guys or women have a business, try and kill themselves to work hard and providing a serious services to clients and don't get paid. Even the client don't respond to them. So this is, I think it's more a problem of society. And the society, the more we go into it, the more it starts to ask about security. Since the past 20 years, I see security going up and down, and now it starts to jacked up everywhere in the world. Terrorists, you have rebels, you have group of people, riots. Even between cop and sheriff and stuff, they start to fight each other. If you look on ICE, the problem of ICE, problem of management, problem with people, problem of communication. I don't know. I'm not specialist on that, but it's something that can create a high threat to the balance of US, because people doesn't understand what's going on. So I take this as an example, but security is the same. What my client needs, I don't know. I'm just here to work and get my money. Okay, man, but we are not a cashier here. I have all the respect for cashier, but they have their job. We have our own job, and our own job is to preserve life, not only the protectee, but our team and people around. So this needs to be paid. It's not free, sadly. So this is, that's why Axis and all the friend and partner we started not to chase contract as it is by money, but we chase contract by the needs, and trying to understand how the mindset of different clients that we reach started to open of what we were proposing. And it is working. It's slow, but it is working. Because we propose, I will say, not say the right service, because this is too much, but we try to propose the service that is the most adaptable to the person. And also we explain to the client what we do, why we do it, and who we are, and what we will deliver. I think when many company will propose that, it will change, and not only security, but it will change the structure of how our society respond for the next 10 years. we will have a lot of security improved because the world will go into a chaos, and we start to see it.
Essentially, with security and other business industries, as you mentioned briefly before, there's a lot of individuals who would want champagne, but they want to pay for beer, right? They're
Absolutely.
paying for the quality of service, not the quantity of service. And granted, there's a lot, especially in your line of work, because it's not all gunfights, chasing and going from point A to point B in a very high pressure state. As you mentioned, there's a lot of downtime, there's a lot of boring work. And in that situation, there would be a lot of prospects who would think that they're not getting the right amount of quality, the right amount of value from your services. But they fail to remember that the reason why you're there in the first place is to make sure they get home safe. They get into their bed at night, they hit their head on the pillow. Like, once they see that, once they can separate between, "Okay, nothing happened today, thank God I have Samuel here," to, "Oh shit, where's Samuel? I need him right now." Like, those differing factors, they really don't understand the value in certain situations with certain individuals. They don't really see the value until after the fact or when shit
Yeah.
essentially hits the fan.
No, I agree. This is a conversation that I had a couple of days with a friend named Paul, excellent guy with a huge amount of experience, and he was like, I start I start to wait when the client tell him, no, it's fine, don't worry. He's like, okay, I'm not worrying, but soon you will worry, and then, like you said, the shit start to hit the fence, and the guy call him, and he said, well. Now it's not the same price. So he played the game. I don't agree with that, but I understand that
Mhm,
because in this industry you have a lot of frustration. Frustration from the past. The commando behavior. Um, People that were not able to show their skills or their capacities, which was my part when I was 30, 35. Now I'm way older, close to 50. So it is a societal behavior and problem that we have is that how to secure people by engaging a true value uh, of what proposed the company or an individual as a security and what the client really needs. When you have a dissection between both, you don't have a balance, which blow literally. And we see it. We see different company. I will not give name, but they propose super hard training you know, and you are like, but why? What is the point of that? We know that we will not use it. I see some colleagues, they have a lot of, tactical stuff around. We are in shirts. We dress like a business casual. We have a gun, yes. Uh, is it necessary to have a gun in this society? Probably. Do you will use your gun if some things happen? Probably not. Why? Because you are so focused on being proactive that you know that if you get your gun out, you will have problem. You will have problem because you will have to explain why
mhm.
you release the shot. Now, if I'm proactive and my sensation, my feelings start to tell me move, you will gently says to the client, hey, we need to move. Because he knows you, because you create these bonds and he trusts you, he will follow. Or he's a freaking dumbass. Then you don't have to be with him and you have to release because you will put yourself in danger. Uh, but the moment that this bond is created, trust is created, services are proposed and correct, well balanced, I think everything will go well. Um, But the problem, we are in a society where nothing's is at the right place. Nothing's have a correct value, or balanced value to anyone. You can go to the, buying a gun store, and you will have a gun at 2,000, and the same gun you will find at $300. You're like, what is the point? Because there is no value anymore. I feel like when my grandpa was using and utilizing, explaining me the Second World War, he was explaining me that Germany were going to get their pay with, a bucket and stuff, because there was no value. And I think we are actually in very close to be at the same point. And security is a true factor of how our society is. Uh, when you have, a couple of years ago, when terrorists started to eat us very bad, the security was going up, and they were all looking for special operation, SWAT guys. In France was a special unit too. Now you start to have a guy that is just a paramedic, never did any security in his life, or EMT. Does it mean that he will be bad? No, but he don't have the training. He don't have the mindset of it. Does he knows how to assess a scene? Absolutely. Does he know how to use a gun? Probably, if he trained. But now, is he trained to do both? No, absolutely not. Most of us, we shoot on freaking, target that is just immobile. So you're like, what is the point? When you will be with your client, the target will move. When you see some techniques, you're like, but why I will use these techniques? There is no one way. There are several ways to respond. No, because the training needs to. Okay, so you use less, because if you are not able to adapt yourself and said, yes, we have several ways to react. We have several ways to assess the scene, the situation, the threat. But then when you got that, you start to get a wider vision of how the market is. Paramedic, okay, you ship. Let's go. I will give you the money. You know how to handle a gun? Okay, let's go. And technically, some people, some company, some clients, they don't really look at your background, because when they receive your resume and you have an interview with them, they don't really ask question, because you are front of someone that is HR, never went in a EPs or security guard or even a freaking shooting range. So again, the value of people, the value of their experience, the value of their services is totally into the garbage in the actual world. So you have salary that will goes on 1,200 a day. I even hear one guy a couple of weeks ago, 2,000 a day. Like, where do you go, Venezuela? 2,000 a day for what? For what? Yeah, I risk my life. Bro, you will never not use your gun. You are in the country that there is no threat. If you go to Sinaloa, I can understand. If you go to the shithole of the world, I understand. But if you go to a place that there is no real threat, why you will ask $2,000? That's the question. Why some EP propose an amount, and why some clients propose an amount? There is no connection. That shows that security actually goes everywhere, and don't really follow a path that have a logical step forward, a cultural aspect of security. What means security? What means safety? What means protection? What means evaluation? Everyone wants to do everything, and no one knows how to do it. And when you know how to do it, clients are like, nah, I have this guy that right next, he's an EMT and he knows how to shoot because he go 2 times in the range. You're like, okay, cool. Let's go. So yeah, it's a serious problem. Actually, a good aspect of security is looking at what happened in Africa, because this is where you will learn your shit. You will learn how to do EPs and propose a stable and a serious amount of money, because you will risk your life. You will have to do a real evaluation. And if the client sees that you don't know what you are doing, you will be removed and you will put yourself in danger. And to me, it's the best way to learn how to sell hippies when you get slapped by the client and the client says, what you are saying is absolutely incorrect, because they have the experience. So your question is interesting, and at the same time take a wide aspect to look at it, not just, okay, the EP, the close protection, the PSD or whatever, but all the aspect of the security to give a temperature of how and what's going on in the world actually, financially and geopolitically, which is a mess. It's a big mess.
There's a lot to unpack, a lot to unfold, especially from behind the scenes. You're behind the scenes with a lot of stuff. So, given your expertise, you understand, you're credible in saying what you just said. But looking at access more internally, there's a lot of individuals, a lot of CEOs, a lot of founders, a lot of co-founders who came onto this podcast, and essentially challenges within their organization boil down to a couple key areas. You briefly touched on sales, but you didn't really touch on marketing. You did touch on the deliverability, and just protecting the clientele, expectations, and environment. What exactly in Axis right now, given the credibility you have, given how you came into the US a year ago, what sort of tensions are there right now in 2026 that you're hoping to alleviate, whether it's the sales aspects, the marketing, the protection aspect, the deliverability between those four? Is there anything that's crucial in helping you and your business expand within the United States? And besides Florida, are you looking to expand any other states outward, like New York, for example, California, maybe even somewhere in Texas? I'm not too sure. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, on my part, Axis proposed services in US, which we already do it in Florida for both of the collaborator or the partner we are. And one is in France, actually, working for an international company. And we try to develop Axis inside the system as not just a protection or security provider, but also as, I would say, advisor or trainer, instructor. Um, when we decided to open the company here, like I said earlier, we were not targeting especially to become millionaire, or we were just three guys passionate about what we are doing, three friends proposing our skills and experience. Obviously, it started to trigger some people interest. um, we don't expect to be the best. We will never be the best. We will always have people better than. But what we are proposing is a package. So we are not just looking to expand our income. We are not looking just to expand our training factor or protection factor. What we are trying to do is having fun in what we are doing, and starting to enjoy uh, interacting with client, interacting with a company, being challenged by, let's say, a company will tell us, or government will tell us, hey guys, you speak French, we need you in Africa. Uh, and we go and we have fun. But then those people from the government will call you on the back and says, "Hey, by the way, you have an LLC?" And we are like, "Yeah." "Okay, can you do this for us?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure." So, you know, I'm not someone, the previous conversation we had on the phone, I'm not someone that uh, will wants to be on the front of the scene, even though I have no issues to talk to a bunch of people for other part. But we tend to be very discreet on what we are doing, because the aspect of security needs to stay on the shadow. If you want to delivering a good security, you need to stay under the shadow. I'm not for the big dude, very wide and stuff, because those guys, they are just noisy. And a dog that just bark, like a big company making big money, they bark a lot. But when you open the fence and release the dog start to be the nicest dog ever. He will not bite you. We are more nice dog that you can pet. And when we see some things, then we will start to grab and pull the person out. That's how our personality, our experience was made. In business, we do the same. We are not extremely aggressive, even though we can say that we are. Um, we are more gentle in our approach. We have the same approach in protection. We have the same approach on maritime part because we touch several things. Um, we tend to be balanced of what we want for the next year, even though we all says together a couple of days ago, let's not talk about next year. Let's talk just about today. What can we bring today that will have an impact on tomorrow? And it's working. It works very well. So I'm not the one saying, "Hey, next year I want to have 500,000 benefits," because I know by fact that it will not happen the way we think, nor the way we want. It will come as it flow. The more you have fun, the more things start to happen. The more you start to work hard and being nauseous about what you are doing. Excuse me. The more you will start to create friction in your mind and in the energy that flow around. So I know we grow. We are growing actually. We have some touch with company and government overseas. We have touch with government here in a different way. So I cannot explain. I cannot say, "Oh, well, the KPI will be this and that," and become a financial guy. We are in our aspect, but it's more about what kind of value I can bring in any step that I do whatsoever with this company today, or the colleague tomorrow, or the new client in a week. I'm just right now, I'm with you. I'm not thinking about, okay, I need to be back home. I need to think about tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow how much money I will make tomorrow. Last week, I destroyed totally the income that I usually do in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 week, because I had several missions coming and I started to be like, whoa, what's going on? But because I was happy, because I was enjoying what I was doing, missions started to arrive. And then automatically the amount arrived because people start to see the enjoyment that you put and automatically, the commitment. And commitment, people will pay. But do I will want, or my colleague or my partner will want to sell more than we are able to sell? No. Because the moment that you are focused on selling, your mind start to put a friction and an obstacle of, okay, what can I deliver and what I want as a money. And money, the more you chase money, less money you will get.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly.
you know, It's a Tibetan staff. I told you on the phone that I'm a metaphysician guy, I study metaphysics, but Buddhist says, okay, when you have a collar, jewelry, you put away, and what happens when you push some things away? When you release, it come back to you harder. But now, if you pull it and you release, it will go away faster. So it's just understanding how flow of things. I had a good friend a couple of years ago in Brazil told me, Sam, if you don't play in your life, the moment that you fall asleep until the moment you fall asleep, then you will not understand how life works. It's just about playing. Uh,
Exactly.
so probably many people will say, yeah, that EPs or security is not playing. Yes, it is. Because the moment that you have passion and you start to love what you do, you start to play. It's like a kid. But if you ask to a kid to play video games, he will enjoy it, but I guarantee he will pay attention on the limits of the game. He don't want to die. My kids play, those crazy games, they shoot each other or whatsoever. But when I listen to them communicate with their friend, it's crazy because it's organized. So they are kids playing, having fun, but at the same time, they are working on something. They want to achieve an objective with game. Now, how many people works and don't have this enjoyable goal and they play? The moment they wake up, they are happy. The moment they go to sleep, they are happy. They bang themselves, they are happy. That's what we try to do in this team is that enjoying to work together and whatsoever will happen, we will enjoy it. We fail together. We reach whatsoever. I'm not looking to be a millionaire for doing what? Buying car? I don't need it. I want my family works and live decently. I want to see my kids. I want to please my family. Hey, let's go to restaurant, enjoying. Um, if I put goal, I will chase the goal. And then the goal will be my nightmare. So um, my two partner, my brothers, I call them, we have the same mindset. One of them is more the financial guy, which we call him accountant, um, because he have the strengths to be able to anticipate, numbers and stuff. The mind is set up like this. He's mathematician, but he enjoy when we are all together. We enjoy more, and we don't think about how much money we will make. We don't care. We're just like, okay, let's go, let's have fun, let's make the client happy of our work, and this at the end of the month, the bank call you and said, hey, this month was good, and you're like, yeah, that was good. So it's all about pleasure.
It's interesting you have the mindset that you do and your partners as well. You're actually the first individual that I spoke to on this podcast who has that type of mindset. And it's very interesting. You truly enjoy what you do, you truly enjoy having fun. Money's the byproduct. You're not really too concerned about that. You're just concerned about the fact is you got to protect the client. You got to have fun while you're doing it. And if you do get boring contracts where you're at right now, that's essentially how you build the credibility. And it's very interesting because when you're not chasing the money, as we both agreed upon, the money will come eventually. It's the byproduct in which you do with your services, your products that you provide. It just comes, it flows into you. When you're trying to actively chase it, it's not going to be anywhere. But when you don't chase it at all, I mean, you mentioned before that that 1 week was better than the whole month you made in a previous statement. That right there shows that you have the credibility, the experience, the knowledge, the services that actually promote real value and real difference with the clients that you serve. Before we wrap up here, looking either from personal or professional development, what's one habit that you carry day to day that has allowed you to succeed and get where you are today within your personal life, within Axis Consulting as well?
Uh, it's funny because I had the conversation yesterday. Every night we call the friend that is in France because we miss him, and he misses us. I, life happen whatsoever. He goes into a moment of life which is not funny, but both of us here, we started to laugh, and he was like, "Why you laugh?" And we are like, "Man, this is a life. Enjoy it." All of us three, and I will talk for both of them. If they hear me, they will probably agree. Uh, we commit in any way at any instant of what we are doing. Um, I've been an athlete in CrossFit, and I always committed to have my moment to train. And when I train, I don't want to train to have a performance. I don't want to train to show to people that, I can walk on the hand or whatsoever. My ego is well positioned to guide me as a inner child. When you recognize the inner child within you, you enjoy your life at any moment. You will enjoy the bird that, you are with the client. This morning I was with him walking the dog, cold in Florida. Actually, it's very cold. And I started to, in my mind, the mindset is like, oh my God, it's cold. It's terrible. Why I'm here, why I'm doing that. And then I started to laugh at myself. I'm like, because you commit, man. You're committed to what you are doing. Embrace the sucks, like said someone online. This is the truth. Any moment that you will pass in your life, like my friend or this morning, you have to embrace it, to experience it in a different dimension, which engage physical, esoterical, mind that is unseen. You cannot touch it. Consciously, unconsciously, what kind of wave I feel inside? Is it angerness? Is it sadness? This asks you to be committed towards yourself. It's like someone that, is in victim mode and says, well, I don't understand. I'm not losing weight because I'm trying everything that, bro, you pass your time face of the TV or you eat and your mindset is into a victim mode. So your body reacts as a victim mode. Now, if you commit yourself to enjoy at any moment whatsoever the suck is, you have to enjoy it. You have to commit and says, okay, what kind of experience I got from this situation, this environment, or this interaction? What, how I feel it, how I sense it, how I can develop wisdom from that, because it will come back. Because every day is the same day. If you have a mindset of, well, I wake up, I don't like my job, I don't like what I'm doing. So it's not about the specific work. It's about your commitment of yourself to say, hey, I have 30 years, 50 years, 100 years on this planet. The world sucks? No, the world is beautiful. The society suck? Absolutely. But I love it because the people that suck, they are the opposite of me, being victim, sad, whatever. My mom, my dad, they're alcoholic and stuff. Okay, that's an excuse because we all pass through crap. And I know what I'm talking about. But you have to wake up. You have to go every day forward, finishing the day, and at the day said, okay, I don't want to learn some things from today. I want to awakening some things. What did I awaken by interacting with you today? So tonight in my car, taking my 50 miles to be back home, I will process all of that. And when I will go sleep, my wife will probably tell me, why you smile again? Because I'm happy of my day. I was cold tonight, this morning. I was freezing my balls, but I was happy. And this is many difficult for many people, especially in this field, because the ego is so high that people don't understand that the ego is here to help you to understand where is the light and not where
Mhm.
is the darkness. But you cannot enjoy darkness or enjoy the light if you didn't dig the darkness. And that's why people are scared of the dragon. Um, but the moment that you understand that everything is made around you to propulse you as you want, you are the owner of the master of your boat. Uh, Security, pizza, cashier, whatsoever you do it with fun. Because the moment that you don't have fun, the body will punish you, the energy around will punish you, but basically you are the punisher of your own self. So if I have to resume commitment to be happy, because the happiness, nobody looks for the happiness. Happiness is here. You just have to accept it. Now I look for frustration. I look for sadness. I look for this. I look for the money. I look for poverty because I look for being rich. So I look for being poor. Uh, but how do you want to understand poverty when you don't understand how money works? How do you want to understand richness when you never been poor? Uh, so every people is in duality, shifting where they are and there. I'm an EP, no, I'm doing this, or but no, finally I'm a former special operation. No, I'm a former cop. No, 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 no. What you are now, happiness. That's it. The rest is, like said my grandfather, a brain masturbation. You follow the brain, and it's even not the brain because the brain doesn't talk. It's the mind. But where is the mind? Nowhere. Did you try to grab it? But you can't. So if it doesn't exist itself as a physical aspect, that's mean you can materializing depending on how you understand. So communicate with, take the time, enjoy it. You know, enjoy any single minute. When my computer started to collapse, I started to laugh. I'm like, serious? But everything have a purpose to happen.
You have a very, again, interesting mindset. I really do enjoy the perspective on life that you have. There's not a lot of people who share the similar perspective, the similar lens in which you view the world. And that really is a differentiating factor on you as an individual. There are so many people that would solely dictate their whole day based on your morning, how terrible it was, cold. But from the fact is, it was only in that moment, and now you're here enjoying having a nice conversation, talking about yourself, the business. So, with that in mind, environments do dictate a lot in how individuals view reality. It frames the whole ecosystem of not only our ego, but just how we interact with people, how we input certain information from the world. Everybody looks at the world different. They have different lenses, different past experiences that dictates how they view it. But at the end of the day, we're only here just once. We should enjoy the moment. We should enjoy the difficult and challenging times and look at it from a learning experience, look at it as an enjoyment factor. Because even though it's going to be hard in the moment, you can look at that in the past and be like, I really improved as a person, even though it sucked right then and there. As you mentioned, embracing the suck, you still had to push past it to get to where you are today. And with that in mind, that's very
Absolutely.
beautiful. That's very deep. I really do applaud you for saying something in that retrospect, especially given the career you're in, the industry you're in. There's a lot of people that view EPs as certain individuals who don't have that mindset, who don't have the emotions, the sympathy in order to feel such emotions, in order to dictate and view reality in this way. But at the end of the day, what you have, the skill sets that you derive from past experiences, they do define you, but they don't define who you are right now in terms of how you feel. Because at the end of the day, stripping all the titles, stripping all the skills you have, you are still a person. Like between you and I, there's really nothing different. It's just our experiences, our
Exactly.
mindsets, and the people that we involve ourselves with every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Totally.
For anyone who's listening or watching this, what's the best place for them to reach out to you for the services for access in the United States?
So basically, we refer that on the phone. We have a website, but I'm trying to be more silent about it. We are trying to remodeling it in a way we want it. And we have someone that will probably be our marketing and commercial person, which I don't really like it, but which is a word the word that I don't use often. They can find me directly or find us. I mean, my colleague, you will not find them. I'm the one on the phone on LinkedIn, which I use the most networking over there. The website will be soon available, even though it is actually online, but I will not give it right now. Um, the other part is, like I said, looks weird. I used to play by ears. So if someone goes on a website and said, "Hey, oh, we love this guy, or we love the team, we love the services," I know by fact and by experience that 85% it will not goes on the contract. But now, because people knows us by experience, that's how we plug contract. And I would like to continue. My friends would like to continue. One of us work for a huge company, and he tries slowly by slowly to plug us. I work with the government and I work with other staff as an individual, and I propose the services. So I'm not, I'm not hurried to go. Not hurried to uh, orientate people to find us. That's which is different that probably most of the people again.
Not
Um,
yet, though.
no, and I even don't think that in 10 years I will change. I always been like this,
Mm,
whatsoever in the police experience or military or private. I never like it to be, the noisy guys in the room. I don't like that.
that's completely fair. It justifies. I mean, as you mentioned before, you do enjoy working in the shadows, but at the end of the day, in order to scale the business where you want to scale it, you need to make those certain sacrifices in order to gain these certain clients. So, I mean, that's obviously something to think
Absolutely.
about.
Hmm.
But Samuel, thank you
It
again
is.
for taking the time to talk to me. I really do appreciate you and especially all this deep insight that you provided with not only myself, but also the listeners who's going to either be listening or watching this.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you for the opportunity. It was good. Even on the phone, it was good.